It's your Fertility Tip Tuesday. Sexual wellness. This is a topic that isn't really widely talked about. You know, this is a taboo topic where you might get together with your girlfriends over a glass of wine. You might whisper, my husband has ED. You know, I think that the thing is, it's hard to talk about with anyone, let alone your doctor.
Exactly.
So start with, Raquel, like, can you walk us through at least sort of like the suite of sexual dysfunction? Like, what are some of the sexual dysfunction things that people experience out there in the world that they're shy or maybe feel ashamed to talk about?
Yeah, so I agree with Alice. You definitely want to pour some wine, pour a drink of your choice, you know, so that you can feel comfortable to talk about these things. But some of the dysfunctions that we hear about the most, it's going to be ED, which does not just happen in older men. It happens in younger men as well. So erectile dysfunction is ED, and then vaginal dryness in women, which typically presents in reproductive age women as dyspareunia or pain with intercourse. So that's how you kind of know, like, okay, something's going on. I don't feel like I'm old enough to have these problems yet. So what could be the problem? And so oftentimes vaginal dryness is what is underlying that painful sex.
Okay, now if I'm thinking about that and I go, okay, the last time that I attempted sex, it was really painful or it was really dry, or if I'm a man and I felt like I didn't perform, I can imagine going into a sexual encounter is now suddenly really stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what happens is the first line treatment that you'll see for any female reproductive issues, or not reproductive issues, but any sexual issues or with men, is going to be getting to the root. So they'll recommend counseling first before they go into, is it with women, is it hormones? With men, is it your nerves? Is there something affecting you actually getting an erection? Something going on with the nerves surrounding the penis? So before they get to
not that, nerves, nervousness. Let's be clear about that. The actual nerves, the sensitivity, the communication pathway between the actual stimulation of the penis and erect versus not nervousness.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear.
You have to be clear. Yes, oftentimes it has nothing to do with that. Now, sometimes it does, but a lot of times what doctors in this field will recommend is to get some sort of counseling, because with men, in order to get an erection, you have to be in parasympathetic mode. So we learned it in school as point and shoot. So point meaning an erection has to happen in parasympathetic. When you're in parasympathetic, you have to be very calm. You know, very relaxed. Like, this is when your body is allowing blood to fill into the penis. So imagine if you're nervous or you are stressed about work or stressed about anything in your life. Of course, when it's time to act. Yeah. So
it's like a perpetuating. I mean, it's like it keeps perpetuating the problem. It's like if you have a condition and then you're nervous about the condition, then you're cutting off the exact blood flow that you need to prevent the condition.
Exactly.
So that's on the male side of things, which I imagine is really tough for couples to talk about. I think, you know, anytime that there's, you know, something in the way that makes it not pleasurable or makes the outcome not be what you want it to be in kind of an intimate setting, it can be very difficult to talk about. Because it does bring up shame. It does bring up blame. It does bring up what's wrong with me. And, you know, this is such a key area in particular where it can have underlying physiological reasons for it. And so it's so important to choose courage to really run it and say, like, I deserve to have a healthy intimacy in my life. I deserve to have a healthy marriage or partnership or sex life. You know, it's not all about just getting to baby, that it is part of sexual intimacy and it's part of the human experience.
It is. And I feel like oftentimes in this whole scenario, we really do overlook the burden that it is on men as well. You know, women are going through this process and it's their body that is being affected, but the male partners, there's like complete Instagram blogs and all type of blogs online about the male burden as well. So I love that we're talking about this today, because there is so much that goes into the act of sex, you know, and so we have to look into those underlying causes of what is causing this dysfunction in the first place.
Right. Yeah. You know, and you just look at society, right? And we there's such a bravado that's supposed to go into your manliness, you know, and your ability to quote unquote perform. in a sexual experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about how many women have come out of the woodwork in infertility, and it's National Infertility Awareness Week, to talk about things like miscarriage, because they said, nobody talked to me about it, right? Or to talk about, just the infertility journey itself, because we have to keep bringing our voices to the table. Now, we are missing the male voice on this, and we will have a guest to talk about, their personal experience in this area. But I think that it is really important, though, for women to make a safe place for men to have this conversation in which it's not emasculating.
Right. Because when it comes to things like sexual health, it can be very emasculating, and it's not something that men want to talk about, especially with their partner. Because for your partner, you have to be like this brave person, like have everything under control. But in these circumstances, I totally agree. We have to talk about male mental health and what they deal with on their end as well, that could cause any dysfunction in their sex or their relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Female side with the dryness and kind of painful sex, are there nutritional things that could contribute to kind of your that dryness or your moisture, if you will?
Yes. So oftentimes, like we know or we hear about, is that the vaginal dryness is due to a decline in estrogen that happens as we age. However, sometimes it can be because of other things. So like estrogen disrupting things that you could be doing, like breastfeeding. So oftentimes women that breastfeed will report vaginal dryness, but it's because when you breastfeed, it affects your levels of circulating estrogen. So that could be something that affects it. Any hormone disrupting chemicals like plastics, using, shampoos that aren't organic, or using makeup that's not organic. Any estrogen disrupting chemicals can affect vaginal dryness as well. So if you're very young, we actually have women come in that are in their late 20s, early 30s, who are having these problems. And my alert always goes off to, maybe you're being exposed to hormone disrupting chemicals. And maybe, you can do a really good detox, get some good probiotics, fatty acids, things like that, to kind of help you to reharmonize your internal environment. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, if they do turn to products that are on the market, are there any products when you're trying to conceive for vaginal moisture that are toxic to the sperm that you're trying to create this receptive environment for?
Yeah. So there are toxic ones, which I won't call any brands because I don't want to get sued. But I will say that if you are experiencing vaginal dryness, that there are tons of natural lubricants, organic lubricants, where they use like fruits and like agave or the inside of the aloe leaf. So they're using things that are natural so that it does not interfere with the sperm. But some of the most common vaginal lubricants really can create a hostile environment.
Right. And it kind of makes me nervous too, just because of how important pH is, right? Fluid to fluid, you have to have harmony between the semen. Forget about the sperm, the semen and the female fluid needs to, we need to have harmony there, right? So that the swimmers can actually swim.
Exactly. Yeah. So I always encourage, like, even if you are experiencing this and it's something that's temporary, just make sure you're doing the best thing for your body.
Yeah, so really pay attention if you're like getting itchy or if a smell changes.
Right.
It's a little trial and error, right? But like pay close attention to your body. Experiment with what might work and doesn't work, for you and your body. But I think that people really do deserve to have this healthy, pleasurable intimacy between two people.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then, this is National Infertility Awareness Week. Like, it's about all of it. It's about talking about the things that you didn't previously have a platform to talk about and making a safe place for that to occur.
Yeah.
And if a safe place doesn't exist in your relationship, like, bring in a reproductive psychologist. We have them available on the Fertility Answers app. They're also available at Resolve's website. We work with a great OBGYN, actually not that far from Dr. Raquel, where she practices, who has a line of dilators that can also help, that are amazing, and treats all kinds of different conditions, Dr. Siri. So we have the resources for you, but our stand on this Fertility Tip Tuesday is get talking.
Start talking. That's the root. Start talking.
It is. So
Yes.
that is the takeaway today is on this Fertility Tip Tuesday. Start talking. Just open your mouth about pleasure and about your sexual wellness, because it does matter and it's all interconnected. And we want you to find joy in the intimacy on your path to parenthood, or if you're already done, completing your family in the way that you're going to complete your family, including childlessness, adoption, fur babies, or that you do have a successful IVF round. This is still part of your life. This is still something that you can stand up for, that you can stick up for yourselves and your relationship and get to the bottom of. So Fertility Tip Tuesday, get talking. Find somebody that you feel safe with.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you on the next Fertility Tip Tuesday next week. Thanks, Raquel.
Bye.
Bye.